Really quick before the video starts, I'm launching my own Rust server, Dust Bowl 1.5x. It's basically a small map vanilla server with a 1.5x gather rate on resources, vanilla loot, vanilla components, and vanilla scrap. Blueprints will never wipe, so you don't have to hard grind BPs every month just to hop on and have a good time. We have a few quality of life plugins, including a custom skin box that has some awesome features, including skinning already deployed items like this door or a box. We also have a sort button, so you can easily organize all of your gear, and we can actually skin entire containers like boxes, lockers, vending machines, and more, so all of your skins will always match. We have a really simple furnace splitter that doesn't require any buttons or UI to function, and we also have drone shops and recyclers at all of the fishing villages. Make sure you drop by my Discord to get notified when the server launches. It should be up a couple weeks after this video. I can't wait to see you guys on there. Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're looking at the Saber. Saber is a trio quad base made for online raid defense. It comes with a practical, cheap starter unit that expands into a fully defendable 3-wall to loot main base with a relatively small footprint. It has all the features you've come to expect: inner peak downs, a wide gap shooting floor, roof defenses, exceptional mobility, and loads of respawns. The Saber may be a base capable of defending an online raid, but it's definitely not capable of stopping a zombie horde from attacking. To defend from that, we'll need today's sponsor, Age of Origins. Age of Origins is a unique zombie tower defense game where you build and command your own city to stop waves of zombie scum. Play with tens of thousands of other players right around the corner to dominate the world and protect yourselves from the zombie horde. You can pick from a huge selection of officers and some awesome minigames. There's even a giant cannon defense minigame where you blast away at increasingly difficult waves of zombies and titans to protect your city. My favorite part is drag racing through the apocalyptic wasteland, collecting coins and battling titans. Plus, we've got to save Lucy. She's seen better days, and we've got to get her feeling right again. There's so many engaging elements to Age of Origins: PvP, PvE, tower defense, minigames, and a massive world filled with active players. With a massive PvP community, you can fight with or against people all over the globe. Please use my download link in the description to download Age of Origins today. Every download helps support the sponsors who support this channel, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Now that you've downloaded Age of Origins, let's get back to building the Saber. Our footprint is broken up into 3 sections: the starter, the shell, and the wide gap shooting floor. The overall size of this base is actually pretty compact, given that it has inner peak downs while retaining 3 walls to core. Our build cost and upkeep is shown on the screen right now, and keep in mind this has the entire starter unit in HQM for 2 floors. To start off our base tour, we can come to these external turret pods, which are completely optional but definitely help out in a raid defense. We can then come over to one of our 3 external TCs, and they are the standard Mini Satori Mr. Man disconnectables. If you place a twig roof here, you can disconnect them, and you can replace these frames to reconnect them. If your main TC gets raided, you'll have to disconnect these in order to replace it. Coming into our gatehouses, we have great angles into our compound and great visibility out of it. In the compound, we can see some drop boxes, furnaces, and our turret pods here. You can see the garage door rollers actually stick through the wall, so we're able to close these and open them from the inside. Coming into any of our 3 mobility modules, we can go right into the shell, or we can go left up this jump up. This brings us to a quick respawn, our retakes for our inner peaks, as well as a ladder hatch that will bring us up to our shooting floor. If we go into the shell, we can see that there are plenty of places for turrets, as well as an oil refinery, drop boxes, furnaces, mixing tables, and anything else you might need out here. You can see this is another mobility module, and then we can come into our starter base. We have a couple of utility items here, as well as boxes in our main TC. Coming up to floor 2 of the starter, I've used triangles in these loot rooms just to give you a little bit more mobility room if you have multiple people going through here at once. The 3rd floor is a bedroom in our inner peaks. You can see our inner peak angles are super tight and compact, which keeps you well hidden but gives you great angles all the way through the shell. There's also 3 turrets up here, and the single doors act as airlocks, so if you want to open any of these, you can section off your inner peaks. Next, we'll head up to our top core, which is not an open core, but it's a place to keep some of your main gear. In case you get online, it's above your inner peak downs, and it's the highest place in the base, so it should keep your respawn safe. We have 7 large boxes, a locker, and a small box in each of the 3 loot rooms, and 3 batteries here that could be replaced with lockers or anything else you see fit. Coming into our shooting floor, we have great angles into and out of the compound. After the recoil update, putting ramps in your shooting floor is becoming meta because you get such a big advantage from crouching. We also have a bed to respawn in the shooting floor and some drop boxes from the roof that are accessible. This ladder hatch brings you back down into one of the 3 mobility modules, and this one brings you up into your roof access. We have some more angles out and then some angles onto the roof as well. On the roof, we have a few extra beds, some windmills, as well as all of those drop boxes that are accessible from the shooting floor. Coming over here, we also have some great angles to defend from if you spawn on your roof. And that is about it. This is the Saber. First, we'll build a 1x1 with a double door on the front. This will just allow us to secure a build location. I like to put the TC in the back left corner here and always put a code lock on it. We can come to the right side and using twig, just make a little build up here to place a shelf inside. We can do this now or later. Then build a triangle and 2 squares off the front. And then place a single door frame here. We can then wall in the rest of the footprint and slap a ceiling on. When we get to this square, we're going to build a jump up, so put walls all the way around, a half height floor, and then a half height ceiling. Put a double door on here and don't seal the very top of it. We can put another double door here and a single door in this slot to make an airlock. Now, if we want to be able to use our jump up, we'll have to put a half height shelf here, and then we can actually put some deployables on it as well. If we come outside, this is what I was talking about. We don't want a ceiling on the very top. I just like to put bags up here because you can easily fit 3 of them, a couple furnaces, and a campfire. This makes your jump up useful at the same time these items aren't getting in the way. Coming over to this square, we can fit a mixing table, a couple small boxes, and our tier 1 and tier 2 workbench without any mobility issues. You can see if we place the mixing table flat against the wall, it doesn't get in the way of the door. We can then fill out our TC room with a few boxes. We can put a garage door on our jump up and throw a couple more boxes under here. You can put a 3rd one here if you want, but it does limit the access to the back right one a little bit. And finally, we'll put a garage door on the TC room as well. That's basically the completed starter unit. If you're going to log off at this state, I would recommend upgrading the TC room to sheet metal and swapping out the last double door for a garage door. This will give you a 7 rocket minimum raid cost. I'm going to start by upgrading everything to its final grade, and I prefer to upgrade the entire 2-story starter to HQM just for pummel protection during an online raid. This is not necessary at all, and you can feel free to just sheet metal most of this and HQM the TC room and some of the loot rooms if you prefer. Our first expansion is going to be starting on the 2nd floor, just walling in the entire thing and throwing a ceiling on it. We'll then create loot rooms in each of these areas by putting a twig triangle on the outside and then building a triangle off of it. You can use square loot rooms here, however, they limit mobility a little bit if you have 3 people running through this section at one time. Once you're done, you can get rid of the twig on the outside and then come back inside, place some garage doors and your boxes. You can use any loot room design that you want here. I'm just putting 4 boxes here for simplicity. To place these top ones on the triangle, you can always place a piece of twig here to make it a little bit easier. Just keep in mind you don't have to do this exact design. You can always put research benches, repair benches, anything else that you want up here. These can be loot rooms, utility rooms, furnace rooms, or really anything. And just like that, we have the first little expansion done, and now it's time to get our shell in place. I'll be using a mixture of symmetry and non-symmetry in the rest of the video because, well, when Face Punch staff ask you to do something, you do it. We'll start by coming off our front door with a triangle, square, triangle build up, and then removing the first 2. Place a triangle off of either side, and then a square off of either side of that. Finally, we'll put a triangle on each end, and then we can actually delete the squares. We'll do this on all 3 sides to complete our shell. You can see how once you get these last triangles on, those are what connect each of the sides. And just like that, we've completed the footprint for our shell. We can now come to the 3 triangle sections and add a double door and then wall in the rest of the shell. On the same 3 triangle sections, we can add 2 windows and a door frame, either single or double. We'll put a ceiling on this section, and then this side will be a jump up. And then we can put garage doors on all of these frames. Coming up to the second floor, we can add a half wall, a full wall, and then enclose it. On top of the half wall, we'll put a window, and then we'll put a ceiling on this. Where the jump up is, we'll put a frame. This can be sheet metal to help hold up your inner peak downs. Then we'll put a half height jump up here, and this triangle can be used for storage. You can use a locker, a vending machine, or anything else you like. Then I'll put another garage door on the door path. Coming up to the 3rd floor, we can put 2 full walls, a half wall, and a window here, and then put the ceiling on as you see. We'll use a single door frame here to get into our inner peaks and then build our turret pod. We'll then bring the rest of the shell walls up to where we are and put a ceiling on it. We can put down these triangles here for our inner peak downs. And we'll notice that there's a little gap here, which perfectly fits the frame that reconnects our shell back to our main core. Without this, our shell will be decaying. This only has to be stone and will prevent people from also laddering up into our inner peaks. The last thing we have to do here is finish up our deployables by putting ladder hatches in each of these spots, single doors that go into the inner peaks, and then horizontal embrasures on our retakes. Before we get our wide gaps and externals down, we'll put these little compound peaks in place because the foundations can't be replaced after, so make sure you upgrade this one to sheet metal. We'll just put a window frame here and a turret can go here later. We don't need it until we have compound walls, and then we'll reconnect it with some frames up top. That's as simple as it is, and we can throw a barricade on here by using a twig square and putting the barricade on. And just like that, we have some compound peaks that also extend our build priv out. To build our wide gaps, we'll do a triangle, square, triangle build up, and then build out 4 squares from there. Build back with triangle half moons until you get to this point where we'll put a square and then 2 triangles. This is what the full build out should look like, and we can get rid of everything except those last 2 triangles. Mirror that on the other side, and then we can get rid of these, and it should mirror the shape of the base. We'll put squares here, and then do another half moon to get the final shape. We'll do the same on the other side, and then we can upgrade everything to sheet metal. I'll put these frames down now so our foundations don't decay. You can see this is why the compound peak foundation isn't replaceable. To build our gatehouse and external, we'll do another triangle square triangle build out, and then we'll build the gatehouse. After that, we'll do a standard mini Satori Mr. Man style disconnectable TC. I'm just securing these with a window and a single sheet door for 4 rockets of raid protection. I'm building out a simple gatehouse here that saves us cost because we don't need to have turret pods in them, which saves a lot of half walls. Reinforced glass goes on the outside and window embrasures go on the inside. We can use temporary twig buildups here to place our barricades on the roof. And the last thing to do here is reconnect these with frames. After that, we'll then connect the gatehouse and the external TC to the wide gaps themselves with these frames. The last step in completing our compound is placing the walls, and we can place them straight off of these pods and then one slightly angled to meet the gatehouse. Toss down large furnaces and we're ready to cook up some more metal. Now that we have a shell fully enclosed, we'll make our way up to our inner peaks to build out some bedrooms. Placing a twig floor here makes it a little bit easier to place these half walls. We have to use a combination of half walls and low walls since the shell footprint is different than our starter footprint. Leave the ends of each of these squares as just a half wall and then place low walls on the rest. We'll do garage door frames in the middle here and place garage doors on them. Break the twig floor and we'll replace this double door with a garage door. Start slapping down some beds and lockers in whatever orientation you prefer. And then we'll make our way to the roof. At this point, we'll build out our top core area. It's not an open core, but it serves a similar purpose. It keeps our loot above our shooting floor and gives us the ability to distribute it more between the starter and the top. So coming to the 3 triangle mobility sections, we'll start by putting single door frames and another window here. Then seal off the roof with a ladder hatch frame and 2 ceilings like this. Don't forget to put horizontal embrasures in these windows. After we've done that on all 3 sides, we can go ahead and start enclosing this floor. We'll start by putting a single doorway right here, and then a wall here that can be HQM. We can do 2 more walls here, and the first one can be HQM, the second one can be sheet metal or HQM. This HQM section is going to be a loot room, and we can enclose it like this. However, if you want a little bit more added loot storage, on 2 of the 3 loot rooms, put a window frame here so we can put vending machines on the outside. At this point, we can put a ceiling on the entire thing and upgrade the loot rooms to HQM. Now on 2 of the 3 sides, like I mentioned, we should have window frames where we can put vending machines just like this. This gives us 6 rockets of protection after they're already in the core, having to blow off the garage door and then a window. We can also rotate the vending machines while we're playing to make them easier to access. And then when we log off, we can just spin them right around. In these triangles, we'll go ahead and put batteries, lockers, or anything else that you need. This is why I mentioned you can HQM them on the outside. If they are battery pods, it's not a bad practice to do HQM. To build out the loot room, we'll do 2 triangles and then throw a few boxes in it like this. Now you can see once these boxes are placed, it makes accessing the back vending machine really difficult. So I might only use this one when I log off, or like I said, you can rotate them when you're playing so then they're facing outwards. We'll put garage doors on every socket. And we'll slap some beds down. Now, it might seem like beds would mess up mobility, but actually if you put a campfire at the base of each one of them, you can crouch right over it. Two of the 3 sides will have vending machines, however, the 3rd side just gets a solid wall with your workbench. We can also put another bed here, just like the other sides, and a campfire. To get our wide gap shooting floor up, we'll build up from the existing frames that we placed earlier. Make sure these are in sheet metal so when they get splashed, if somebody's rocketing, it doesn't collapse your shooting floor. Once they're 3 stories high, we can go ahead and place these floor tiles off of them. Make sure these triangles go off the main base. You can see the foundations below. We're going to build honeycomb all the way up from those. Place down your windows and embrasures, and off the triangles place half walls and windows. We can put a ceiling on by attaching the squares to the outside and the triangles to the inside. At this point, I like to put a bed right here because it's a relatively safe spot to spawn and you won't instantly be shot through a window. We can come up to the roof where we'll build our roof access using 3 windows and a single door. We'll put a ceiling on this, and then we can put an embrasure on the part that faces our roof. This is helpful before we have turrets, but after we have our turrets up, there's actually a more useful solution for this. We can place vending machines here and then put a glass window over them and a garage door right here, which gives us 6 rockets of raid protection per set of vending machines. We can use them as drone shops or additional loot storage on our roof. At this point, I'm going to place the roof tiles off of the wide gaps. We can also make a turret pod using triangle roofs above this airlock. And the last step is to put roofs off these squares. And just like that, all of our roof tiles are complete. We can put our drop boxes here. 3 go in each of these spots, and they can actually be accessed from the shooting floor. So if you spawn in one of those beds, you can grab a couple kits out of it. These are also just great for depoting loot if you come back in a minicopter. Now we can place turrets in these turret pods. To get windmill towers down, find this spot on the roof and build up 5 frames. We can place a temporary twig support right here as well, then place 2 temporary triangles and perfectly center your windmill on them. Deleting this frame will get rid of the entire stack, and if you've done it right, you'll perfectly balance your windmill on 1 tower. Now we can finish up our honeycomb by using sheet metal on the outside and stone on the inside. What you can do before you seal the top of this also is add a couple of frames to support your inner peak downs. If you do these in metal, they should stay up during a raid. Going into our inner peak layer, we can also place these frames here in metal and then ladder up to place a turret. Do this on all 3 sides to get great inner peak protection. If a raider goes through walls and busts these open, they'll have 2 turrets looking at them from the side. Just like that, you've built the Saber. I really appreciate your guys' support on all of the videos, the movies, and everything. I actually just filmed a wipe out of this base, and I'm going to be making a movie out of it. And keep in mind, my server, Dust Bowl 1.5x, is coming soon. I hope you guys really enjoy it. We put a lot of work into it. Make sure you join my Discord to get notifications when it's released, and I'm super excited to see you all there.